When you feel lost in the noise of the world, when the demands, doubts, and distractions begin to drown out your own voice, that's when you must remember you were born with fire in your soul. There's a spark within you, buried maybe but not broken, waiting, quietly glowing, quietly whispering, quietly daring you to remember who you truly are. That spark is your truth, your power, your essence, and the time has come to ignite it. The world will try to convince you to shrink. It will ask you to blend in, stay quiet, follow the script. You weren't made to be invisible. You weren't made to dim down to fit in. You were made to stand out, to rise, to light up everything around you. Your inner spark was not placed inside you by accident. It was put there on purpose. It's your map. It's your compass. It's your connection to something higher. And when you start to honor it, when you start to follow it, life begins to shift. You stop chasing. You start aligning. Your inner spark is your true power. It's not something you have to search the world to find. It's already within you, woven into your being, waiting for you to notice it, honor it, and let it lead you. That spark is your truth. It's the part of you that knows who you are before the world told you who to be. It's the energy that pushes you towards your dreams, that whispers when you're off course, that lights you up when you're aligned. It's the part of you that doesn't just survive, but longs to thrive. And when you choose to reconnect with that inner spark, you awaken a version of yourself that is no longer willing to live life on autopilot. There's a reason you feel empty when you betray your own voice. There's a reason you feel alive when you do what lights you up. That's not a coincidence. That's your inner spark speaking. It's the signal that guides you back to your most powerful, radiant self. You may have forgotten about it. You may have ignored it, buried it under fear, people-pleasing, and self-doubt, but it never left. It waited, silently, lovingly. Because your inner spark is patient, it doesn't give up on you. Even in your darkest moments, it flickers quietly, reminding you that you're more than your circumstances, more than your mistakes, more than your limits. You are energy. You are potential. You are power wrapped in skin. People spend their entire lives trying to gain external power, titles, money, influence, believing those things will finally make them feel complete. But real power, lasting power, comes from within. It comes from aligning your life with your truth, no matter what it costs. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you're no longer willing to tolerate. And that clarity doesn't come from outside validation. It comes from trusting your inner spark more than the noise around you. It's choosing to live from a place of self-respect, even when it means walking alone. Because deep down, you know this: when you walk in your truth, you're never truly alone. You walk with integrity, with purpose, with the quiet strength of someone who knows they are guided. The moment you recognize that your spark is your power, everything changes. You stop seeking permission. You stop diluting your presence to make others comfortable. You stop asking, "Am I enough?" and start declaring, "I am already whole." That shift is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about remembering that you don't need to earn your worth. You need to own it. You don't need to hustle for your identity. You need to return to it. The more you connect with that spark, the more you begin to attract what's meant for you, because energy doesn't lie. And when you are lit from within, you become magnetic, not because you're chasing, but because you're aligned. The truth is, your inner spark is your soul's compass. It won't lead you where your ego wants to go. It will lead you where your spirit is meant to grow. And that path might be uncomfortable. It might ask you to shed layers, release attachments, let go of false identities. But it's worth it, because what you gain in return is freedom, peace, power. The kind of power that can't be taken away. The kind of power that allows you to walk into any room and feel grounded, not because of how others see you, but because of how deeply you see yourself. That is the power of living from your spark, and that is the power that transforms not just your life, but the lives of everyone who crosses your light. Living from your spark means choosing authenticity over approval. It means deciding that your truth is more valuable than someone else's comfort. It's choosing to be real, even if it makes others uncomfortable. It's the conscious decision to live your life in alignment with who you really are, not who the world taught you to be. Every day we are faced with subtle and not so subtle invitations to conform, to fit into boxes, to wear masks. And every time we accept those invitations, we stray a little farther from our inner spark. But every time we say no to what doesn't align and yes to what lights us up, we reclaim a piece of ourselves. That is authenticity in action. And it is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Approval is addictive because it gives us temporary comfort, It quiets the fear of being rejected, of standing out, of not belonging. But the more we chase approval, the more we betray ourselves. The more we mold our lives around other people's expectations, the more we lose connection with our own. Living from your spark is about flipping that script. It's about getting brutally honest with yourself and asking, am I living for them or am I living for me? Because you cannot do both. You cannot live a life that's true and a life that's performative at the same time. One will always silence the other, and if you want peace, fulfillment, and power, you must choose truth. Choosing authenticity over approval means understanding that not everyone will like the real you, and that's okay, because when you are living authentically, you no longer need everyone to like you. You only need the right ones to see you, to recognize your energy, to meet you where you truly are. And even then, their validation becomes a bonus, not a necessity, because your worth is no longer hanging on their reaction. It's rooted in something deeper, something internal, something unshakable. When you choose authenticity, your relationships change. They either deepen or dissolve. Some people will fall away because your truth challenges their comfort. Some will stay and meet you more fully than ever before. Either way, you win, because your life begins to reflect who you really are, not who you've pretended to be. That reflection creates alignment, and that alignment creates peace. The kind of peace you can't fake, the kind of peace that glows from within. Living from your spark doesn't mean being perfect. It means being honest. It means having the courage to say, this is me, flawed, growing, and real. It means making decisions based on your inner compass instead of the fear of judgment. It means showing up in rooms as yourself, not as who you think they want you to be. And yes, you may be misunderstood, you may be criticized, but you will also be free, and that freedom is priceless. When you live authentically, you attract opportunities that are truly aligned. No more forcing, no more pretending, no more bending yourself into someone else's mold. Instead, you become a magnet for people, places, and paths that match your true frequency. You stop chasing what's not meant for you and start receiving what is. That's the magic of living from your spark. That's the power of choosing authenticity over approval. In the most beautiful part, you give others permission to do the same. Your truth lights a path. Your honesty breaks chains. Your courage sparks courage in others. By living fully expressed, you become a mirror for others to see what's possible when they too choose themselves. That ripple effect is real, and it starts with you. Choosing authenticity isn't just about personal growth. It's a form of quiet revolution. One choice at a time, one truth at a time, one spark at a time. Fear is not your enemy, it's your invitation to grow. It may show up loud and intimidating, but at its core, fear is simply a signal. It's the voice that says you're stepping into something unfamiliar, not necessarily something dangerous. Fear doesn't always mean stop. Sometimes it means pay attention. It means you're getting close to a breakthrough. It means you're standing on the edge of expansion. And while most people run from fear, those who choose to grow understand something deeper. Fear marks the gateway to your next level. It's not there to destroy you, it's there to refine you. Growth doesn't happen in the safe zones. It happens in the stretch, the discomfort, the resistance. It happens when you step outside what's familiar and into what's possible. And fear will always be present at that threshold, not because you're wrong, but because you're evolving. Fear shows up when your comfort zone starts to shrink, when your spark is calling you towards something greater, and when your spirit knows it's time to rise. Avoiding fear may keep you safe, but it also keeps you small. Walking through fear, on the other hand, activates something extraordinary within you. It teaches you resilience. It awakens courage. It unlocks parts of you that would remain dormant without the pressure to grow. There's no version of growth that doesn't come with fear. Even the most successful, radiant, powerful people feel it. The difference is they don't let it stop them. They feel the fear and move anyway. They let fear walk beside them, but never let it take the wheel. Because the truth is, fear isn't a sign that you're not ready. It's often a sign that you are. Your nervous system may react. Your thoughts may spin. Your doubts may scream. But beneath all that noise is the still, steady rhythm of your spark, reminding you that you are capable of so much more than your fear wants you to believe. Fear can become a teacher if you let it. Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask, what if I fly? Instead of shrinking back, lean in. What is fear really trying to show you? Often it's pointing to something you deeply care about, a dream, a calling. a truth. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't be afraid. So let that fear be evidence of your purpose. Let it be confirmation that you're heading towards something meaningful. And use that energy not to retreat, but to rise. When you shift your relationship with fear, you no longer see it as a roadblock, but as a signal. You stop asking, how do I avoid fear? And start asking, what is fear inviting me into? That shift is powerful. It gives you back your power. It reminds you that fear doesn't get to decide your destiny. You do. And every time you move through fear, your spark grows stronger. Every time you stretch beyond what's comfortable, you unlock a new level of yourself. You expand your capacity to trust, to believe, to lead. Fear wants you to believe that staying the same is safer than growing, but the real danger lies in staying stuck. Because when you ignore your spark to avoid discomfort, you trade your potential for predictability, and that's a price too high to pay. You were not born to live in limitation. You were born to evolve, to expand, to rise. And every fear you overcome becomes fuel for your fire. Every time you face the unknown and choose to keep going, you collect evidence of your power. Let fear be a clue, not a cage. Let it show you where your soul wants to grow. And remember, you don't need to be fearless to take action. You just need to be brave enough to believe that what's on the other side is worth it, because it always is. Fear may whisper, but your spark roars louder. Small aligned actions build unstoppable momentum. It's not about making huge leaps all the time. It's not about dramatic overnight transformations. True, lasting change is built one small, intentional step at a time. It's the daily choices, the quiet shifts, the unseen commitments that slowly but surely shape your reality. These small actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they stack. They accumulate, and they create a force that becomes impossible to ignore. That's the power of alignment. When your actions match your truth, even the smallest effort becomes electric. So often people wait for a perfect moment to make a move. They wait to feel more ready, more confident, more certain. But momentum doesn't wait for perfection, it responds to movement. You don't need to know all the steps, you just need to take the next one. The one that feels aligned. The one that reflects who you really are and where you're going. That single action, however small, starts to shift your energy. And once your energy shifts, your life follows. One spark becomes a flame. One decision becomes a new direction. One choice becomes a breakthrough. The beauty of small aligned actions is that they're sustainable. They don't overwhelm you or burn you out. Instead, they build confidence. Every time you act in a way that honors your truth, you send a message to yourself, I can trust me, I am showing up for me. That inner trust becomes the foundation for greater courage, and courage leads to even bolder action. What once felt impossible begins to feel natural, even necessary. It doesn't happen through force, it happens through flow. And flow begins with a single step taken in alignment with your spark. Think about how energy works. When you start pushing a still object, it takes effort. But once it begins to move, the resistance lessens. Movement creates more movement. The same is true in your life. That first step might feel heavy. Doubt might try to stop you. Fear might whisper that it's not enough, but keep going. Because once you begin, you start building momentum that carries you forward with more ease and more clarity than you ever thought possible. And each aligned action strengthens your connection to yourself, your vision, and your purpose. Even when the results don't show up immediately, don't stop. Trust the unseen. Trust the compound effect. A tiny shift in energy today can create massive change tomorrow. Just because progress is invisible doesn't mean it's not happening. Seeds grow underground long before they break through the surface. The same is true for your life. Keep watering it with action. Keep nurturing it with intention. Keep choosing what aligns, even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. Alignment means acting from your truth, not from pressure or fear. It means doing the thing that feels expansive, even if it's scary. It means trusting your gut, your heart, your knowing. And when your actions reflect that inner guidance, they carry a different frequency. People feel it. Opportunities find you. Doors open that logic can't explain. That's the magic of aligned momentum. It connects you to a higher flow, a deeper intelligence, and a more powerful version of yourself. So don't underestimate the power of showing up daily for your spark. Say the affirmation, take the walk, Make the call, set the boundary, write the page, post the truth, send the message, rest when needed, rise when called. Every small action becomes a building block in the life you're creating. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize how far you've come, not because you rushed, but because you aligned. Not because you forced, but because you followed your truth. And that always leads to transformation. You are already enough to become everything you've dreamed. You don't need to earn your worth, prove your value, or become someone else to deserve your vision. That dream on your heart, that vision in your mind, it was given to you for a reason. Not because you were lacking, but because you were already equipped with the essence needed to bring it to life. The world may have told you otherwise. You may have been conditioned to believe that you need to be more, do more, have more before you're worthy of stepping into your power. But that's a lie. Your worth is not conditional. It is not something to be gained. It is something to be remembered. From the moment you were born, you carried brilliance within you. That light didn't appear because of achievements, applause, or acceptance. It was already there, built into your being, woven into your soul. You don't have to chase greatness. It lives inside you. And when you begin to accept that you are already enough, you unlock a powerful shift in your reality. You stop waiting, you stop begging, you stop settling, and you begin to rise from a place of deep inner knowing. This is not about ego, it's about essence. It's not about pretending you have all the answers or never needing growth. It's about understanding that even in your imperfections, you are complete. Growth becomes a process of becoming more of who you already are, not a desperate attempt to become someone else. When you stop trying to earn your own love, you free yourself to take action from wholeness. You show up differently, not to gain approval, but to express your truth. You begin to walk like someone who knows they belong in the room. You speak like someone who knows their voice matters. You dream like someone who no longer doubts their worthiness. The problem is not that you're not ready, it's that you've been told you need permission, but no one else can grant you what already lives inside you. You are the permission. You are the source. You are the power. And once you stop outsourcing your value to the world and start reclaiming it from within, everything changes. You begin to choose differently. You begin to expect more. You stop entertaining people, situations, and beliefs that make you question your value. You no longer seek to be chosen because you know you already are. The journey toward your dream is not about becoming worthy enough to have it. It's about realizing you always were. And that realization isn't just empowering, it's transformational. It shifts how you treat yourself, how you think, how you act, how you move. Because when you believe you are enough, you no longer fear failure. You see it as feedback, not a reflection of your worth. You stop overthinking, over-explaining, overcompensating. You start trusting, flowing, and expanding. You don't have to wait until you feel confident. Confidence grows from action, and action becomes powerful when it's rooted in enoughness. You may not feel ready, but you are. Readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision, and you get to decide right now that you are enough to begin, enough to show up, enough to take the first step, enough to own your dream, because your dream is not out of reach. It's calling you to remember who you are underneath the noise, the doubt, the stories you were never meant to carry. You've always had it. The fire, the vision, the glow. You just forgot. But forgetting isn't failure. It's part of the journey. And now you remember. You return. You rise. Not as someone trying to become enough, but as someone who finally realizes they always were. That realization becomes your foundation, your anchor, your superpower. From there, nothing is off limits. Because when you believe you are enough, the world responds to that energy. And that's when everything begins to shift in your favor. Your spark is a gift to the world. It's not just for you to keep hidden, guarded, or silenced. It's meant to be shared, to be seen, to be lived out loud. That unique light inside you, the way you think, feel, speak, create, and love, those are not random traits. They are intentional imprints of your purpose. You were given that spark because the world needed something only you could bring. And when you allow that spark to lead, to shine, to influence your choices and your presence, you become a mirror, a lighthouse, a force of inspiration. You create impact simply by being who you truly are. Too many people believe their light isn't significant unless it's validated by others. They dim down because they think they're too much or not enough. They withhold their gifts because they're waiting for permission or perfection. But the truth is, the world doesn't need more polished masks or filtered versions of truth. It needs realness. It needs your full self, your rawness, your love, your creativity, your leadership, your essence. Because when you live from your spark, you activate others. Your presence becomes a reminder that it's possible to be free, to be whole, to be powerful just as you are. Think about a candle lighting another candle. It loses nothing. It only multiplies the flame. That's what happens when you live lit from within. You ignite something in others. You model what it looks like to rise, not in perfection, but in truth. You give people silent permission to do the same. And your energy creates a ripple. The more you lean into your light, the more you become a part of collective healing, collective awakening, collective change. Your spark has influence far beyond what you can see. The words you speak, the energy you carry, the choices you make, all of it impacts others in ways you may never realize. A simple moment of authenticity can shift someone's entire day. A bold choice to follow your dream can remind someone that theirs is possible too. A moment of kindness, presence, or truth can create a spark in someone else's life. That's the power you carry, and that's why your light matters, not just to you, but to the world. The lie we've been told is that playing small keeps us safe, but in reality, playing small only keeps us silent. It hides our gifts. It blocks our impact. It keeps the world from receiving what we were sent to give. And the longer we hide our spark, the more disconnected we feel. Because we were not designed to shrink, we were created to shine. Not in competition, but in contribution, not to outshine others, but to light the way together. There's no scarcity in light, only expansion. You don't need a massive platform to make a difference. You don't need millions of followers or a perfect plan. You need willingness. You need authenticity. You need the courage to show up as yourself, and let that be enough. Your spark will do the rest. It will magnetize the right people, the right opportunities, the right support, because energy is real, and when you are in your truth, it speaks louder than words. It moves mountains you didn't even know were in your way. You are not ordinary. You are not accidental. You are not replaceable. Your spark is sacred. Your light is needed. And when you start honoring that truth, you begin to live on purpose. You begin to breathe deeper, love stronger, and lead with heart. That's the kind of life that doesn't just feel good. It changes the world around you. And that is the power of your spark. That is the gift you carry. Don't hide it. Don't apologize for it. Live it fully, freely, fiercely. Because somewhere out there, someone's waiting to feel their own light reflected through yours.